all of us who grown up in an Asian family know how important education is for for our children, for all of us. But there is something going on in the education system right now that's affecting a lot of Asians, especially Asian Americans here, and that's something that you've been finding about. So I want to ask, during the Trump administration, you and your organization, which is the Asian American Coalition for Education, were instrumental in the lawsuits regarding the racial bias against Asian Americans in the institutions of higher learning. Most of our audience probably don't know that this type of discrimination exists and it's happening in our schools. So why don't you just give us a quick background of what is going on there and kind of explain to our audience why you founded this organization?
Sure. As a matter of fact, ever since 1990s, right, some Asian American already filed complaint against Harvard. And there was many study in America in all the good high selective schools, colleges around the country, 42 states.
Hmm.
They all use the admission model of Harvard University to discriminate against Asian American children. Basically, they use higher admission standard, use a de facto racial code, and also racial stereotype.
Hmm.
I want to give a couple examples. One is the higher admission standard, right? According to the study by Thomas Associated of Princeton University, for Asian applicant, in order to get Americans' top universities, or given all the conditions are equal, we have to score 140 points in SAT higher than the white,
Uh-huh.
270 points higher than Hispanic, and
Hmm.
450 points higher than the black.
Hmm.
Also, we have suffered a lot of personal rating, like say they claim we don't have leadership, we don't have like risk-taking attitude, which is insulting
Oh
because
yeah.
Asian Americans are among the leading entrepreneurship,
Hmm.
leading in technology innovation, technology startup, right? So they use this kind of stereotype to discriminate Asian Americans. So as a result, what is happening is in Asian American community, all children, we don't have a lot of crime issue, drug issue,
Hmm.
but what we suffer is really depression because a lot of work, overwhelming workload, high admission standard, right? According to a survey by Insider, higher education,
Hmm.
32% of admission office from a public college and 42 from the private college admitted they use higher admission standard, right, to discriminate against Asian American. So we
Yeah.
have even some children suffer, because high workload. Some children even suffer some psychology issue, even
Hmm.
a few commit suicide. So
Oh
this
wow.
is a huge discrimination against Asian American, and also this is number one, the only one in terms of use race-based policy discriminate any racial group.
Hmm.
That is currently is happening. No,
Hmm.
in the 19th or 20th century, we still have Jimmy Crow, other things, right?
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
today, all the other historic slavery, that kind of, law being abolished.
Hmm.
But affirmative action is the only one. So that's the reason in 2014, I, call upon Asian Americans united to support our children. And
Hmm.
then in May of 2015, we united 64 organizations filed a complaint against Harvard.
Hmm.
1 year later, we united 132 organizations filed complaint against Yale University. The good thing was like Trump administration,
Hmm.
they launched investigation against Yale University, and we after the 2 year investigation, they found Yale University systematically discriminate Asian American
Oh
and
yeah.
white American, and then they launched a lawsuit last year.
Hmm.
But unfortunately, the Biden administration just dropped the lawsuit on February 3rd.
Thank you for joining me in this clip from the Free Mike Cast podcast. Please follow us in Rumble And please subscribe to our channel at rumble.com/freemiclive. From there, you could find us doing weekly videos on interviews and podcasts, and also some commentary about culture, politics, and anything in between. So we look forward to seeing you there.